Well, hello, you beautiful people. Have you ever gone to make a decision and realized that it was a terrible one, but you did it anyway because your face is already firmly cradled on the loving ground, and you're just gonna roll downhill with it? That's what this is. Alright, so I was playing Diablo, and I decided I wanted to try and make an item that had requirements and gave a bonus. So this is my rough and tumble mock-up of that. I'm just going to walk you through it as fast as I can and try not to mess things up. So right here I have my testing section. We just have a character that has, what was it? It was strength, level, and left and right hand. Because the item I was testing was the chromatic ire, which is a staff which requires 2 hands, and it also requires strength of 25 and a level of 35, which is what these are. So you'll see right here, after applying its modifiers, I'll say the base of the item, which I've just hard-coded because I'm lazy, and then the bonus, which is the updated strength, which is 30. Because I do believe it gives a bonus. Yep, the modifier is strength, bonus of 5. Alright, so if we lower this to 24, it says required strength 25, and I will get into that, but it's very complicated. So it just lists anything that you're missing. And I can't currently change the hand from none to another item because I don't want to make another item right now. But that's the one weakness to this currently. Okay. So we've set it back so we can equip the item. So right here I just hard equip the item, just item I. The character gear slots.add, which just throws it into a slot. Boom. Let's see. Yeah. So the add just adds it to these dynamic variables right here. And I've just assigned those to left and right hand. This is super messy, but whatever. Alright, so characters have level, strength, and a gear slot, which is one of these. And we just set the level and strength here because we passed that in on the super method, because this sorceress inherits from character, which I can probably just delete that because that's dumb, because we already have that. There we go. No point in overriding the super class when it's already there. Okay, let's see. Strength, so we pass strength and level to the super, which gets assigned. Then we have left and right hand, which gets assigned by gearslots.add, because I don't want to directly say like left hand, right hand assign, because that would defeat the whole purpose of even having another class. Alright, so apply modifiers. Sorry, this whole thing is kind of complicated. So the apply modifiers just takes itself right now and looks through every gear slot that it has and gets the item. Then it gets the attribute that the item wants, and then if there is no gear to that, yeah, so sorry, I was just like, what does this do? I haven't looked at this in hours. No, so this is actually just a name because we're looking at the dictionary definitions of what's defined in gear slot, which should just be left hand and right hand, because we're passing in a key and value, and in the gear slot we pass in a key value set, and we just set that to the key and the key's value, which is left hand, none. Okay, and then we just say if there's a piece of gear in that slot, or sorry, if there's not a piece of gear in that slot, we just pass. And we run through this loop again, and if nothing comes back as being required from the checks, then we run the modifications. So we go gear.pass, which in my brain is so done. There it is. That good old one-liner. It just returns this list. So then we get the list and we say for modification in the mods list. And then we get the key, which is going to be strength here, and we're just unpacking it because it'll basically say like list.keys strength, and we don't want that. We just want the string of strength. So we unpack it, and that will equal strength. But if you just unpack it by itself, it will throw you an error because you can't actually use an unpack without having it being passed as something. So we're passing it as an argument to string, which converts the whole thing into a string, which then would be strength. We'll say that that's P. Then we get the attribute from character, and we pass in self and strength, and then that will be the value of the character strength. Then we set that to the character, and we set that to strength, and then we do the current strength plus the passed in strength, which should be 5. And again, you can't use the asterisk without passing it as an argument or a string. So we just do int because it's supposed to be an int, and that will apply the 30 strength. If none of that is true and there were exceptions, then we do gear.show requirements and we pass in the checklist of requirements that did not pass. I don't like running this twice, but my brain can't handle not doing that right now. Add skill points. I don't actually think I used that. Or did I? Self.skill points whole. Yeah, I don't think I used that anywhere. I think that was just there. Oh, right, because the staff adds 3 to skill points, and I was going to try and do that, but yeah, we didn't get there. It didn't happen. So you didn't see it. Alright, so the item itself has an owner, which is just going to be the class of sorceress, or whatever character has the item. I'm still debating whether that's needed. Like, I don't think the item needs to know if it's owned or not. But we'll figure that out later. Anyway, it has a base item, which actually should be like an enumeration or at least a pointer to an item, like an item template in a dictionary somewhere or something. It shouldn't just be a string, because that's error prone. It has a name, chromatic staff, and it has requirements. I've passed these requirements as strings because we evaluate them, because if we just if we delete the bracket, then we break everything. So if we just evaluate it like this, it'll evaluate as it reads it, and it'll just be a static number. So whatever owner strength was, which would be the sorcerer's class. So it actually would not be anything at the moment because strength is not defined. So I think that might break. Yep. Fantastic. Anyway, these are strings because we have to evaluate them later. Let's see. So we just have the 25 requirement for strength, 35 requirement for the level, and if no, we're just gonna keep going. So this is the big one here. This is the handedness, I guess you could call it. Did I erase something? I can't remember now. Yeah, that doesn't need to be there. Boom. Okay. So, yeah, okay. This is requirements. My bad. I put it in twice. We're cleaning up the messy code as we go. This is what we call classic presentation here. So the requirements are just a tuple, or sorry, the requirements are a dictionary entry with a tuple as the key, which is just the property that we want to set and the value that we want it to be set to. So 25, and then we check against the owner's strength. It's either less than or equal, or sorry, greater than or equal to 25, then level 35, greater than or equal to 35, blah 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 blah. So this one's two-handed. And we do self is self.gear slot left hand, self is self got. So we're basically right here we're saying, oof, I hate that. Okay, there we go. So we're saying if the item, the cedar staff, is in the left or the right hand, this passes. So that would evaluate to true if it's in the left or right hand, which would make it wearable according to the requirements, because the requirements only fail if one of these is false. So we say or. So it can be true or it can be false. This next evaluation says if there's nothing, so it basically just says if the left and right hand are empty. So this part can be true or false, and this part can be true or false. But it doesn't matter, because as long as one of them is true, the statement will pass. Boolean logic. And then this is associated with the requirements, so we'll just check that in a second. Alright, so can where equals false to start with, and then we do the modifiers. We can just add in a bunch of modifiers, but for right now we just have strength. I could end in level, I think, and I think that would still work. Level, and we'll do +3. Uh, 35 and level. Yeah. Yeah, that works. So you can just add in as many modifiers as you want, and it'll just go through. So we just do the item name, the modifiers, just passes the modifiers in this list right here. Okay, check requirements. So we have inadequacies. Nobody wants to be inadequate, but we are sometimes. So for the first part, we just say enumerate self.requirements, which just goes through here and grabs each one of these string statements. Or sorry, each one of these dictionary entries. They were strings, my bad. Anyway, it'll grab the index value of that. So it'd be, let's see, this would be 1, 2, 3, whatever. And that was just to pull the requirements for that. So if not eval, and then we do requirements.values. So the requirements.values will pull these dictionary values. Specifically, it'll pull this part here. But it will say, self.requirements dictionary, and then have the string. So again, we unpack it. And since we're evaluating it, it's already just going to unpack as a string. So we say, if this is true, or sorry, yeah, my brain. If not, eval. Alright, yeah. So if it's not true, so if strength is less than 25, then we append it to the inadequacies, and we append the key and the index. And then we just loop through all of the requirements, and if inadequacies has anything in it, we can't wear it. We cannot wear the item. Otherwise, we can wear the item, and we just pass out all the inadequacies, and that's what show requirements reads as. It'll consume this inadequacies. But as you saw earlier, it doesn't always need to print out that, so that's why they're split into two different functions. Because here it consumes it, here it does not, because we don't want it to print out at this location. which is why it's broken into two different functions. Anyway, so it just takes the inadequacies list right here and parses through each element of it, and then we just do requirements, and then since this is actually a tuple and you cannot index into you can't index dictionary keys, we turn that key into a tuple so we can index into it, and then we turn it into a title, and then we turn it back into a string. Or is it? I can't remember. Yeah. So we take the string and we title it. So actually, don't think I need that. I think I can just leave it as a tuple. No, I wanted to leave it as a string. That's right, because we're in a print statement, and I don't want to leave it as a tuple. Oh! Yeah, and that's because I want that right there. So I did a plus instead of a comma because a comma leaves, it reads each element as a tuple into the print statement, but I actually want to concatenate these two strings into one so that I get the bonus right next to the colon. And then we do the exact same thing here. We take self.requirements.0.keys, and then we turn the keys into a tuple so that we can index into the tuple and get the second value, which is the number. Yes, we nailed it. Alright, so let's just change this really quick so we can see. So requires, and then we get index 1, which is level, and index 2, which is 35. Boop, boop, boop. Did I hit record? I hope I did. I did. Excellent. And I think that's it. Yeah, we can just change all these. Strength required. Let's just do it really quick and see what happens. So we're gonna go item, doesn't have an owner. We're gonna go is. No, crap. Don't use reserved words. Oof. I broke something. Oh, it's required. I forgot. D. Owner equals D. There we go. Alright, required strength level. Interesting. I broke everything. Alright, we won't worry about that right now. I am not equipped to refuse items. Alright, that's it. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. Yep. Alright, until next time, make poor decisions, stay up late, and don't sleep. Have a good, I guess, morning now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next time to make more poor decisions.